With the ocean covering most of our Earth's surface, the underwater world still remains a mystery to us. Scientists and researchers are working hard to protect the planet and to learn more about the world. But when expert marine biologist Asha de Vos was out in the open sea during a normal day at work in Sri Lanka, the team spotted something a bit fishy in the water. At first, they couldn't figure out what they had encountered, but once they returned to land, they wouldn't believe what they would unravel back at the office. Let's dive in and discover the underwater secret of Sri Lanka. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. Asha de Vos wasn't just a regular graduate of marine biology. She had successfully received a PhD degree in the field, and if that isn't impressive enough for you, she is actually the first and, as of right now, the only Sri Lankan to earn a PhD in this field. It's clear that she finds a deep connection to her country, and for many years, she has chosen to focus her research on exploring and conservation of the northern Indian Ocean, more specifically in Sri Lanka, and so began her mission to unravel all the secrets of the sea. She packed up her passion and knowledge and set out to sea with her team. Considering she was the first and only one in her country to have a doctorate degree in this field, it was clear that Asha de Vos had pure passion for what she did. From 1983 to 2009, the waters surrounding Sri Lanka were inaccessible. On top of that, the water was quite dangerous to take a risk and discover because there were sea mines dispersed and hidden throughout the area. This didn't stop de Vos and her team, though. After over 2 decades, they finally had a chance to explore the waters and they were excited. Asha de Vos wasn't new to the game, however, she was fully aware that the North Indian Ocean was an area that was rarely explored. The surrounding countries don't have the financial status needed to fund aquatic expeditions, so the amount of knowledge known about the water is quite limited. This made de Vos's adventure that much more exciting, though. Come February 2017, it was just another day in the office at sea for de Vos and her team. That is, until they spotted something that looked a bit fishy. De Vos' focus was in marine mammal research, and within that focus, she specialized in blue water whales. Due to Sri Lanka's busy shipping lines, the aquatic life has been compromised, especially for whales. This area became a key area to focus on conserving and protecting, and de Vos had been working at it for years. Her ambition to protect and study the whales were slowly starting to be recognized worldwide, and she was always excited to jump in and explore the waters. There are 3 species of blue whales that are found in the area, and marine biologist de Vos made it her mission to learn about these magnificent creatures. It was just another day in the office when her and her team were observing the marine life, when all of a sudden they saw something odd. The team decided to anchor the boat and noticed that whatever is in the water is slowly getting closer. So then what was this object that was moving towards the boat? As large as whales can be, they can also be quite sensitive because they like their privacy and to swim in the deep ocean waters. Asha de Vos and her team tend to travel past the coastal shore into the open waters to observe and photograph the blue whales. However, they were about 4.3 miles, 7 kilometers, from the shore when they started to see something approach them. And as we mentioned before, it wasn't normal for a whale to get close to the boat. They could tell it was a creature, but it wasn't like anything they had ever seen before. As their vessel was at a standstill, the team had to think quick. De Vos and her team quickly grabbed their cameras and started shooting documentary pictures before it swam away. The closer the creature got to the vessel, the bigger it looked. At this point, it seemed about as big as a school bus, and the creature wasn't just approaching the boat, it was circling and swimming around them. Can you imagine the rush the team was feeling? With a mixture of fear and excitement, out came the cameras and notebooks to document what they were witnessing. But what was this animal that they had stumbled upon? They were determined to figure it out. An enormous animal they had never seen before had just approached and circled their vessel and remained relaxed and calm while they were taking pictures of him. Was it a shark? A whale? A dolphin? With shock, awe and excitement, her and her students got straight to work when they got back to land. They whipped out their journals and their catalog of photographs. Asha de Vos had a lot of experience with whales and marine biology, but she was going to need to call in for help for this case. In order for you to understand how big a deal it was for de Vos to call in for backup, let's give you a little bit of background on her experience. We know that she graduated with a doctorate in marine mammal research and focused her studies on the blue whale. But what did she do after? Well, in 2008, she established and headed the Sri Lankan Blue Whale Project, a project focused on long-term research on blue whales in the northern Indian Ocean. But this was just the start to her incredible, rewarding career. Thanks to Asha de Vos' incredible dedication and research, Sri Lanka's blue whales were named by the International Whaling Commission as animals in urgent need of conservation research. 5 years after starting the Sri Lankan Blue Whale Project, she received the President's Award for Scientific Publications in 2013, and in 2016, she was inducted into Oceana, an international organization to protect the world's oceans, as senior advisor and a renowned marine biologist. So like we said, de Vos was a pro when it came to aquatic life in Sri Lanka, and she was recognized globally for it. So calling for backup definitely meant they might have found something extravagant. Although de Vos was able to get some photographs, she was having trouble identifying the mammal. She and her team of students were able to distinguish 5 characteristics from the photos of this unidentified mammal, though there were 5 different characteristics or morphologically diagnostic features in technical terms that helped identify exactly what species of aquatic animal this was. It was mostly related to the asymmetrical jawline, pigmentation, and some other unique marks. Based on its unusual markings, like the asymmetrical coloring, its right side lower jaw is light, while on the left it's dark, and its chevron marking, de Vos shared with TED Fellows. She had a feeling she knew what the species was. What was the team's initial thoughts about their sighting? Upon further research and photo identification, the team thought that maybe they were in the presence of a bride's whale. This large species of whale lives in warmer waters, just like the Indian Ocean, and is found in the Indo-Pacific Ocean. But upon further investigation, de Vos told National Geographic she started to think it was a different mammal. The lighter lower right jaw and chevron were key characteristics that made me question what I had seen, because bride's whales are essentially uniformly black. So, what kind of sea mammal was this? Asha de Vos and her team finally had an aha moment and felt like they were that much closer to identifying the magnificent creature that approached them on February 5, 2017. She immediately transferred a few of the images to 2 of her colleagues, Dr. Robert Brownell and Dr. Salvatore Cerchio, who are familiar with this species. And by this species, we mean the species of animal that de Vos believed this creature to be. Asha de Vos didn't just stumble upon any aquatic animal, this one was basically mythical. Both her colleagues, Dr. Robert Brownell and Dr. Salvatore Cerchio, confirmed and validated Asha de Vos's hypothesis for her discovery. She had made a groundbreaking discovery and was the first to cite the Omura's whale. The Omura whale isn't necessarily a mythical creature like a unicorn or a mermaid, but it is quite rare. So rare that there were barely any sightings of this species. This species was only discovered in 2003, barely 2 years before, in Japan. And Asha de Vos and her team were the first ones to cite this amazing 30-foot sea mammal in her homeland's waters. The only other sightings recorded were in the eastern Indian Ocean, Madagascar, western Indian Ocean, and Iran, northwestern Ocean. Talk about a revolutionary breakthrough in marine biology. Although the Omura's whale does have distinguishing features in comparison to a blue whale due to its unique markings and coloring, it clearly wasn't that easy to identify since they have been seen so infrequently. This Omura's whale was spotted less than 5 miles from the coastline and in waters of about 180 to 215 feet deep, suggesting that they prefer to linger in shallower waters. De Vos was lucky enough to spot this beautiful sea mammal. They can grow to be up to 33 feet long. Pretty enormous. Can you imagine swimming alongside this whale? The O'Moores whale is a newly identified species with only a few sightings in the past couple of decades in the Indian Ocean. Though Asha de Vos didn't discover a mythical creature, her finding was legendary. In 2017, she officially recorded the first sighting of the O'Moores whale in Sri Lankan waters, a discovery that resonated in the scientific world. She later presented her findings at the National Geographic Explorers Festival, a prestigious event where experts share insights to improve our planet. Even before her breakthrough, National Geographic named de Vos an emerging explorer in 2016. The following year, she received the Women of Discovery Sea Award from Wings World Quest. She is now a TED Senior Fellow, a Duke University Global Fellow for Marine Conservation, and a young global leader at the World Economic Forum. Since O'Moores whales are rarely seen, little is known about them. Research in Madagascar shows they filter out fish eggs and tiny plankton, though the significance of this behavior is still unclear. Sightings have been scattered across the Indian Ocean from Madagascar to Iran and Sri Lanka. Their presence in shallow waters, frequented by humans, raises questions about how they remained undiscovered for so long. De Vos reflected, "If we are overlooking these giants, imagine what else we are missing." Their conservation status is uncertain, but marine biologists are working to study and protect them. De Vos was the first to document one in Sri Lanka, but she turned to Dr. Salvatore Cerchio, the lead researcher on O'Moores whales in Madagascar, to confirm her findings. Like de Vos's Sri Lankan blue whale project, Cerchio heads the Madagascar O'Moores whale project. Their combined efforts could lead to further discoveries. Both share a passion for marine conservation. French naval officer Jacques-Yves Cousteau once said, "People protect what they love," a sentiment echoed by de Vos. She believes knowledge fosters appreciation and action. The discovery of this whale in Sri Lanka's waters reminds us that exploration is still possible, she told TED Fellows. For her, the find is not just a scientific achievement, but a source of national pride. Despite the vastness of Earth's oceans, we've explored less than 5% of them. The O'Moores whale, an enormous marine species, was only recently identified, highlighting how much remains undiscovered. Sri Lanka, a tropical island southeast of India, is known for its lush wildlife and scenic landscapes. Yet its waters are equally rich in marine biodiversity. Marine biologists continue to be amazed by the life teeming beneath the surface. Asha de Vos, after completing her marine biology studies abroad, returned home to make a difference. She had no idea her decision would make history.